you're so insanely cool, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass or anything. It's just that, like, when I'm in your presence, there is this freaking articulated brilliance. You know, the brilliant dude who just sits in the corner of the cafe and doesn't talk to anyone. You know, that brilliance may be, circle jerking like crazy in here, but it's not spilling out into the world. Brett, you spill it out into the world with so much generosity, right? And we're just like a bunch of little kittens drinking milk, lapping it up, right? So, Brett, I really think you're our Jerry Garcia, or you're Bob Weir, you're whatever you want to be, baby. But as long as you're loving the hate, I think
But
that we.
they were in a band though, so I might have you in one of my open houses. See, I actually have a fear, Jamin, of being a solo,
No,
and being like frozen and not being generative. Like
okay,
when the
I've got the
like
solution. I've got
I
the
don't like being
solution.
small like, but if I have people to work off, it's easier,
I,
really.
I got the solution. We'll throw down together and listen. Let's just rebrand this. Love in the hate, and Brett's place, whatever we have to do. But we'll just keep it here, and this becomes the place, because with Christopher here, with Marco here, with James here, with Jimena, with Claudia, we've got this incredible core team, uh, Brett, who are just like basically the funnest people you'd ever want to smoke weed with and drink a beer with on a Saturday night listening to Grateful Dead. I mean, they're just the funnest fucking ass people you'll ever find. And that's because the core here is our collective heart that's emerging, right? This collective that we can't even describe. People will get PhDs about it 50 years from now, but right now we can't even describe it. We're just too busy living it to stop and describe it too much. And that's what they were doing in the summer of love. Yeah, there were some philosophers there, and that's great. But it wasn't like the philosophers said, "Hey, everybody, stop partying, stop partying. We need to figure this out before you can continue." No, the parties raged on, right? And stuff got figured out as it got figured out. So I think we got it, you guys. Let's just all band together and fucking do this. Let's all move into the Victorian together in the hate, and let's create love in the hate. Love in the hate. What it says it all. Love in the hate. It freaking says it all. Because you know what? There's all this hate everywhere. We're creating this island of love. You couldn't say it any better. I created a brand one time. Well, I haven't done anything with it, but it's called Islands of the Pacific, right? And it's like these peaceful islands of the peaceful people, basically. I live on an island in the Pacific. It's called Whidbey Island, right? And then you got the Hawaiians and Polynesia. And so it just evokes all this great shit, just like the hate evokes all this great shit. And we're basically saying, listen, there's a lot of hate going around, and a lot of it's growing, and tribalism and this and that and civil war, whatever. How about some love in the hate? We're not saying stop hating. We're just saying, hey, we're creating this island of love. So if y'all want to take a break from that for a while and have a Mai Tai and a dance and a bong hit, there's no better place in the hate to do that than love in the hate. I mean, it's just wow. Right? And the Victorian can have just this giant red heart. Oh fuck, I've already got a picture for that. This friends of my brother's. Wait, Melissa's got my phone, but it's this giant sign that says love, and it's right in front of their house, right? Um, and it's a permanent thing with like light bulbs and shit. It's some badass shit. Anyway, so we'll have a virtual big ass love sign, dude. We're gonna create the love and the hate. I mean, this is destined to rock like fuck. It's destined. I think we just did it. I think we just created Next Dead. I think we're it. As scary a thought as that is. I think we're next dead. Reminds me of that Clint Eastwood movie Deadpool from the 80s. Not a very good movie, but anyway. Oh, thanks, sweetheart.
You want some hot soup? I made some.
Yeah, sure, sweetie. Thank you. And you want a little toast with me?
I can't make toast. It's all the electric.
Oh, that's right. Oh, nice. Okay, sweetie. Thanks, sweetheart. No, really, you guys. We got this. Love in the hate. Love in the hate. Why'd they spell it Haight? Right? Because let's face it, nobody outside of California knows what the hell the Haight is, or nobody outside the West Coast, or is it that famous? Let's do a poll. Irish and Canadians. Did you guys how much? Well, you guys knew because you're super cool. James, did you know about Haight Ashbury, James? Of course you did, right? Here, you're on mute there, James. You're on mute. No hurry, no hurry. How about you, Christopher? No, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Sorry, David. Yeah, I heard of course. Yeah, sorry, just getting up my dinner down.
Yeah. Okay. So it's enough known that it'll resonate, but but for young kids who never knew the history, because by now that's like over 50 years ago, right? It's kind of ancient history for the young kids these days. So it gives them something to learn and sink their teeth into and talk to Uncle Barney. And then Uncle Barney gets out his guitar and his bong and he says, yeah, let me tell you how it was. Right. And so we then have some of this cross-generational talk going on. Yeah, it was cool back then. Stuff wasn't so screwed up as it is now. Oh, really? 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 Yeah. We had like Bobby Kennedy, right? Who got murdered the next summer. We had Martin Luther King, who got murdered the next summer. I was conceived in the San Francisco Bay Area in the summer of love. Now that's a cosmic thought. I was conceived in the summer of love. I was born May 5th, 1968. Hence I was conceived early August, 1967.
Nice.
So
I was born on the 5th of August,
5th of August, what year, James?
1967, born.
Oh my goodness. You were born when I was conceived. I think you must have inspired my parents, James. They said, wow, if we could have one of those, shall we give it a try? James,
that's some crazy shit. That's a synchronicity for sure.
This is some crazy ass. This is some crazy ass shit. This is some crazy ass shit. I was conceived the day you were born, and I was conceived in the middle of the summer of love, 1967, San Francisco Bay Area. Boom. Top that, Jersey boy. Well, this is my house, mofo. Don't be talking shit or I'll kick you out. This is my turf.
I can't top that. I can't top that, but I know my family story is my mom was a mile from Woodstock when it went down and wasn't there because she's lame.
Melissa lived in Woodstock for a while. Way back when, I think probably around the same time.
Cool. So by the way, Jamin, when I sent you my form, to talk about Togetherland, I listed 3 other topics with just like brief headlines of what they would be. So they were pretty much there, I think. Maybe we'd add another one, like you said, a 5th one. I had Togetherland, The Age of Co-Creation, Transforming Perceived Mental Illness. I have to look. You sent me a form. Actually, I have to go back and see what I sent you. So,
no, I'm gonna.
I guess I'm gonna go for it, dude.
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up.
He's frozen again. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let me check it out right now. Let me check it out.
So make a note for yourself. I need to definitely go between 12 and 2 p.m. PST because the first hour is an opening, right?
Yeah.
Opening context and remarks and everything.
Yeah.
So between 12 and 2, I would have to go.
Okay, no problem. But let me pull up your thing. Now it says my internet connection is unstable. That's all I need while I search the inbox.
Yeah. Takes one to know one.
Right. Okay, let's see here.
As above, so below.
All right. Okay. New entry, sign up. And you only submitted one, right, Brett?
I submitted one,
Okay.
and in the further information, I said, here's other topics I can do.
Right. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now I got it. So you want me to screen share? Here. I'm going to turn off my camera for bandwidth purposes, and I'm going to screen share and talk. Let's talk through this. And we're still recording. All right. So Brett, here's your submission. And by the way, this is the old sign-up form. We've got a new one now, which is more simplified. So together, and the Together UFO, a holo movement of co-creation.
That was all the community.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So shall I scroll down then? You tell me where to go. Description of your conversation, mission, purpose, goal, flexibility. Oh, here you go. Okay. These are the big three?
That was all the big stuff. No, those were all the big questions when you asked, like, what's your community you're coming from, which I think you've probably simplified, right? So
yeah.
So the first one is Togetherland, but those were the answers to, like, what community are you coming from or something like that.
Mm.
You know, like, and then it said, what do you want to present on? So, like, above that it says, oh no, actually those are the 3-4 topics I would want to do.
Yeah. Right now, let's just think in really simple terms. I'm going to go back to just looking at each other for a minute. Here, let me turn my video on. So in really simple terms, it's literally as simple as you have an open house and multiple 2-minute presentations pointing to that open house. Each 2-minute presentation, think of it as the birth of a conversation. So whatever topic you put, whatever title, you are birthing a conversation by that title, which will now live on forever, perpetually, at your open house. And at some point you might want to.
I like that. That's good.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. You give every conversation a home. The home is an open house. The home is an open house. And love in the hate. Oh my God. You're basically saying there's all this hate in the world. You know, whether it's articulated or just expressed in what we eat, just by eating a fucking bacon cheeseburger, we're expressing hate, right? So there's hate everywhere. We're just invisible to it. So we're creating an island of love, right? Love in the hate, you know, AKA, you know, Bret's place or whatever it makes sense to call, right? Hey, sweetheart.
That plate. Can I use it?
Yeah, sure. Or maybe we just call it love in the hate. Simple as that. Open house. It's called love in the hate.
Multiple taglines. There's the
There
play
you
Bret
go.
mention, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, taglines, there's going to be new taglines every 5 minutes coming out of, or every 30 seconds in Love and the Hate, because ultimately there's going to be like millions of people going there, right? And it's just going to become this gateway drug to global transformation, so to speak.
That's funny.
It's definitely a gateway. It's a portal. I mean, and to have it in the hate in summer 1967, anything's possible. Just pop a couple more shrooms or something. Anything's possible, right? Anything's possible. And then Togetherland could even be a breakout room in Love and the Hate. Oh my God. You know what? Let's just create a whole new Zoom account. Unless we want to rebrand this one. Maybe we rebrand this. Love and the Hate. And we just set up shop here. And then,
I mean, but the conversation, you can't get rid of you can't rebrand that. I mean, that's good.
well, you know what? Why don't we just have 2 brands, 1 Zoom address? You know, and it's as simple as this. Here's it's so simple. We don't need to complicate it. Love and the Haight lives on the conversation. Voila. Hey, where do I find love? Oh, it's in the conversation. Right. .cc. Simple as that. Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I want to have the breakout rooms just like the mansion in the Haight. Like you go to different rooms and there's people doing meditation, there's people doing music, there's people like whatever.
Exactly. Except we're gonna have infinite freaking rooms. And they'll be recording and they'll be live streaming. And the main open living room with the open door is basically people like us hanging out saying, hey, welcome. Hey, oh, this is your first time here? Okay, cool. Here we'll, you know, at the top of the hour, we give kind of like a 5-minute tour of the house. How cool is that? Every top of the hour, we give a 5-minute tour of the house. So just stick around and, you know, that way we're not like interrupting conversations. And then the other 55 minutes, we freaking hang out and smoke dope and talk. You know, what else are you going to do in the living room? And, you know, and people come in and you direct traffic and you say hi to people, and somebody comes out of a breakout room crying because it was a grieving circle and it became too much for her. And then we simply embrace her. And we say, you know, I'm so sorry. Here, it's going to be all right. Let's talk. You know, we become just that living room you always wanted, that miracle living room that's so healing, so welcoming, so co-creative, right? How cool is this? Word.
I've got to go in about 15 minutes. If there's anything else on the, I don't think there is. I mean, that we're just keeping the flow.
Oh my goodness, 15 minutes. We're going to change the world again in 15 minutes. Everybody strap your seatbelts. I didn't think we had that much time. Now we've got a virtual eternity.
Or actually, maybe there's a couple of slides from Togetherland I want to show you to share some of the like memes I'm working on, kind of some aspects of it.
Yeah. Hey, James, do you want to make Bret co-host, please? Oh, he already is. Okay, go for it. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, James.
Let me see, where is it? All right. So I'm not going to do an official presentation. Maybe I'll see if I'm here next week, which I intend to be. Maybe I could kind of do a little bit more, so to say. There's just a couple, like I'm just going to share some parts of it, like, and stream of consciousness more, whatever. So this is the opening slide, which says this is not a movie. So in a genre called alternate reality games that like I used to talk about with World Beyond Money, there's kind of 4 pillars to alternate reality games. And the 4th pillar is this meme that all the players of an alternate reality go around saying, which is, this is not a game. So it's kind of this idea like it's this thing, but it's not a thing. You know, it's kind of hip and cool. It's not really a game because it's an alternate reality, blah, blah, blah. So Togetherland, because Togetherland was inspired by an actual movie, and it's going to focus on movies at the beginning in many ways. But as you'll see, it's not a movie itself. But people tend to fall back to that metaphor, like, oh, you're talking about a movie. And you'll see why, I guess. So I'm just playing on that a little bit, because in the future, I want people all walking around being like, I'm part of Togetherland. No, this is not a movie. Because it kind of is like a real life movie, so to say. But it's not a movie, like just some film 2-hour movie that you go to the, you know, the theater to see. So, so one day I want that to be a popular meme, like this is not a movie, and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, Love and the Haight is the place to make it popular. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. So recently, a friend of mine, Mona, one of the Together kind of community, presented a version of Togetherland at a film festival in Guna in Egypt. And on their website, we basically applied to, you know, speak at their kind of pitch competition or something. they had this statement: the next turning point of the entertainment industry, the next breakthrough invention starts at their festival. So I was like, well, my intention with Togetherland is to answer that call. Like, I believe this is the greatest breakthrough invention you could possibly even imagine, really, that would be a turning point for the entertainment industry, to put it mildly, basically. So this is too long, so I'm not going to read all this, but this is some stuff where I was laying down this kind of idea that what is the evolution of show business, you know? Obviously, like, you know, Spotify and Netflix are going to put movie and music distribution out of business, you know, digital photography, put Kodak out of business. So it's the same thing. Obviously, show business itself on a larger scale needs to adapt or die. And that's just a fact of the matter. It must be clear to people. So I'll skip all that. I'm going to skip all this stuff. It's kind of nice to read, but people can check
Well,
it out some other time.
Are you open to little inserts?
Yeah, of course.
So what we're doing right here is that mashup between entertainment and change the world. It's right here. It's happening right now. It's just come to Bret's place and hang out. Back to you.
Yep. So then I said there's first a few things to set the stage. So I tried to, just in case somebody stopped here and they didn't go through all my slides, like what are these kind of 10 bullet points on Togetherland? It's life is the bottom line, is the value system. Instead of profit being the bottom line or whatever, life is the bottom line. The power of co-creation as a worldview. And then I borrowed some stuff from an ARG pioneer named Jay McGonigal. This is a platform for the economy of engagement. So people have satisfying work to do. They feel like they're part of something. Their time is well spent. This is a constructive response to all of our social problems. It's a new genre of entertainment, creativity, and reality. It's a new way to incubate and accelerate innovations. These are kind of all these kind of bullet points in case someone never went past these slides. So this is a quote by Buckminster Fuller, which I had only recently found, which I love. The world is now too dangerous for anything less than utopia. Because I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm not into anything less than utopia, and I'm tired of people telling me it's impossible.
Okay, hold the phone. Hold the phone. This is exactly another way of saying love in the hate. Back to you, Bret.
Totally. And, you know, it was funny. My wife was saying, you know, this is part of the disease of the current reality, that people think what we're all talking about is utopian. To feed the world, to share, to co-create, to live a life of limitless creativity and possibilities, and everyone says that's impossible, that's a utopia, that's actually a symptom of the whole disease that we're talking about in itself, that people can't even imagine something like a utopia. So if we're gonna, if it's anything less than utopia, then we cue Togetherland. So basically, the intention of Togetherland is really to reinvent civilizations. Plain and simple. You know, there's a famous book in the teal. Yeah, there's a famous book in the teal space, teal organization space, called Reinventing Organizations. So obviously, reinventing an organization is way too lame for me. So I've got to reinvent civilizations. And really, like what you're saying, Jamin, which I've always resonated with you, is like what I'm saying is we've got to unleash our full heart power and imagination if we're going to break through what's the current breakdown. We can't be afraid of our capabilities and having ideals in our designs. We should be designing for love and wonder and possibility, not just to escape tragedy or just to like horizontally move away from capitalism. We need to design for the most beautiful possibilities. That should be our starting point, really. So an element of Togetherland is traditional transmedia. And one of the definitions of transmedia is the practice of designing, sharing, and participating in a cohesive story experience across multiple traditional and digital delivery platforms. So the key point here is transmedia generally has to do with storytelling and digital delivery platforms. So what I've done is I've coined my own word, which is transmedium instead of media. And I've substituted the words, and I'm saying transmedium production rather than transmedia is the practice of designing, sharing, and participating in a cohesive reality experience rather than just story across multiple mediums and technologies, not just across digital technologies. And it's for the integration of social change, entertainment, conscious evolution, and planetary scale cooperation. So I'm always about transcending and including. Transmedia is awesome, but I want the world to understand the idea of transmedium. So Togetherland itself is actually what I call a genre-busting breakthrough reality from the future, right? It's a next level transmedium vehicle for living infinite co-creation. And I've shared before that it was kind of inspired actually by the last scene of a movie called Tomorrowland, which beautifully ends with George Clooney saying to a bunch of children, "You're much more than that. So go out there and do what you would have done. Find the ones who haven't given up. They're the future." And then this scene goes on to show people across all genders and ages and nationalities who are innovators coming together to create this world of tomorrow because they don't have the bounds of bureaucracy and secrecy. They're there to innovate from their heart's desire. So I'm saying basically, what if we become Togetherland across all of our differences instead of just Tomorrowland? This slide is saying, okay, here's a bunch of new words: transmedia production, infinite reality platform, regenerative filmmaking, a new live aid. What the heck does this all mean? And a little definition of genre busting, which I love. It's not conforming to established patterns. So that's why I say Togetherland is genre busting. It's not conforming to anything that we're expecting. Is it a movie? Is it transmedia? Is it innovation? It's all of that and more. It's
Is it
not
a
going to
press?
conform to any of it.
Is it a press
What's that?
conference? Is it a press conference? Is it a menu? Is it a directory?
It's the stone soup of all of it. So here, this is, I'm just having trouble seeing my slide because of all this stuff. This is a beautiful statement I wanted to share with you, Jamin. So Jay McGonigal, who's this pioneer of ARGs and a futurist, she once said, "We don't try to predict the future. That's really hard and not productive. What we try to do instead is understand the materials of the future." Interestingly enough, if you understand the materials of the future, you can help shape the future. And that's way more important than trying to predict it. So where I was coming from when I read that, I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Because what I was doing is I'm talking about materials, transmedium. And one of the definitions of medium is actually an agency or means of doing something, right? So economics is a means of distributing goods. Governance is a means of making decisions. These are actual mediums. You know, nanotechnology is a means of creating small little things that do something. All of these things are actually mediums, or in a broader sense, they're all technologies. You know, meeting in a teepee and passing the peace pipe is a type of technology. They're all from where the Greek came from, technology and medium. And, you know, mediums are also normally the materials or methods used to create things. So if the materials help us create the future, this is why, to me, transmedium is so important, to go across these mediums and integrate all of these mediums together. And then I went on to make some differences. You know, what's the difference between transmedia and transmedium? Example, mediums, spirituality, press conferences, film, everything is a medium. Consciousness is a medium. Then I did some other juxtapositions, like transmedia tells a story, transmedium lives, you're living a story. Transmedia, you use a variety of story forms. Transmedium, use a variety of innovations. And I like laid out some different juxtapositions. Then you have something called the overview effect. You know, when astronauts go out to space, their consciousness is changed because they see the planet as a living, whole living system. And I'm saying there's the co-creation effect. You know, when you look at the planet as a whole interconnected system where we're all interconnected, there's a co-creation effect, which I'm going to work out more. And then I get into this idea of living the story. So there's something called XR out there, which is an umbrella term for all of the immersive technologies like VR and AR and mixed reality. But really, they're all only about simulation. They're just about immersiveness. And I'm saying when you combine transmedium, a transmedium paradigm, and Togetherland, what we're really creating is infinite reality, or XRI, because that transcends and includes immersive, to not only be a simulation, but also an interactive, immersive simulation, real time. It doesn't matter. It's just like this singularity type transbredism, right? It's not transhumanism because that's boring robotics and people all becoming some robotics. I don't like that personally. So I'm going to be establishing these new terms because they mean new possibilities. So I'm looking to create XRI, which goes beyond XR only. All the world's a stage, obviously. So through the portal of Transmedia and production, XRI and Togetherland, we're all living and co-creating the story together. Here I'm saying, like you're saying, there's concerts, events, films, VR, laser projection mapping, blockchains, opera, business, education, alternate reality games, flash mobs, activism. All of these things are at our disposal in producing what is Togetherland, really. So we will make feature films, we will make documentaries, we will make reality TV, but those are just tools in the toolbox to actually bring a new world online. And then I'm saying the big next steps are what I call regenerative film, music benefit concerts, and inspiring industry veterans, pioneers, experts, and mavericks. So for me, this is the conversation that will kick off Bret's house as the meta conversation. Like, yes, here's the different things I'm looking: spiritual philanthropy, Togetherland, you know, age of co-creation, but these are my next big steps. Like, I want to get the conversation going with like industry veterans and pioneers in all of these different industries to help some of the younger people, even like mentorship, the baton. It doesn't mean they're just out to pasture and they don't have a voice, but can you please help? Can you help me? Can you help some of us? Like, we have some solutions. We need more diversity. We need more support in different ways, blah, blah, blah. And I think film and music are the tipping points. So because film and music are so universal and widely understood, before we get into this infinite reality and all these new technologies, I think we can leverage film and music because of where they're at. This is a famous quote by George Lucas's wife. I think it's for real. I'll share it another time. I'm just putting forth that film can do more. Film can be more. Film as an industry can be and do more than it has ever done in the history. And I call it ending the celluloid footprint, which is a juxtaposition with the carbon footprint. So for me, films are wasting opportunities. They're wasting resources. They're extractive. And there's no reason we couldn't make a $500 million production like The Avengers that was impactful and entertaining, but using the budget to actually, like, we make a movie about solar radiation management. We make a movie about cooling the planet and a bunch of superheroes and Jarvis and AI, but we use the budget to actually build real solar management panels, real food delivery systems, real new AI and co-creative architectures and systems and regenerative cities. It's really a simple mind shift that is going to be a no-brainer duh to a bunch of pioneering people and philanthropists when they get the mind shift. And it's really that simple. It's just a mind shift versus differently. And then there's a bunch more. So this is one of my favorite memes that I'm working on, Jamin, which is going from special effects to social effects. So basically all the sets and locations and costumes and props can all be regenerative solutions while also simultaneously fulfilling the roles in a production. Like, normally you would need a set, like in an Austin city, right? Instead of renting out 42nd Street for $40 billion to film a scene for Vanilla Sky, we take that $40 million part of the budget and we build a 1,000 person city somewhere that can feed the whole bioregion. And that's the location, that's the prop. We don't build a fake Tesla tower to show what it would be like. We build a real Tesla tower. So we go from special effects to social effects. And then we go from prop houses to innovation houses. So in a film industry, the prop house supplies these fake props. It supplies the sets. It's all this illusion, which is awesome. I love movies, don't get me wrong. It's just about updating our own creativity and our own possibilities. So I love stories. I want to make awesome entertainment and experiences, but we don't need a prop house. We can have an innovation house, and we fund all of the people who are building these props, and then we put them in the movie. So props and innovations are one and the same thing. The question is, do we create a movie that creates the illusion of awesome technology, or do we create a movie that simultaneously funds awesome technologies and weaves them into the story and then makes them available to the cast, crew, and the audience? So when people watch our live streaming episode of Togetherland and all the cast and crew are using the conversation and the technology, they don't just go home thinking, oh, I wish I could do that. No, they log in to the conversation and Jarvis is there to help them. And if they want to come visit the city that we're all in, they can come visit the city. They can live there. They can contribute, blah, blah, blah. And then benefit concerts. Brian May of Queen has been putting out a lot of memes. I have some friends that know him, but he's the guy. He wants to create a new Live Aid for new versions. And I feel like this is the key. They have yet to create a music benefit concert. Usually they're for diseases and disasters, if you've ever noticed. Usually we put on benefit concerts when there's a disease or a disaster as a response. And Woodstock is cool, but it wasn't like regenerative and smart. Like, we can raise billions of dollars in money and psychology and use all those monies to, again, fund an ecosystem of innovations that are working in harmony together, rather than just giving money to NGOs that just waste the money or don't know how to use it because they're not together in a whole system with other people. So I'm really big in sparking some kind of new Live Aid that helps change the psychology of the planet. That's my press conference dream, as in that's the biggest press conference I can think of. You know, a 3-day Live Aid festival is like a version of a press conference. So I'm really into that. And then I called it a fractal. What does a fractal living screenplay really look like? Because again, it's not just this monolithic movie where we write a screenplay, we produce it, 3 years later, the movie comes out and then it's stale. Movies cannot work like that anymore as major pieces of social activism because they're outdated, just the way they work. It takes so long to make them that by the time it comes out, it's not related to what's actually happening on the planet. So there's a very simple plot for Togetherland where every other documentary, every activism, every press conference is meant to be inspired by that one central plot, which is not yet a universal message, but is still very simple and universal, which is there's a small group of people who catalyze an evolutionary leap for consciousness, from competition to co-creation, from destruction and war to regeneration and peace, from scarcity and fear to abundance and love. That's it. That's the plot of Togetherland. How that expresses itself is autonomously up to all the people and how they want to, as long as, for me, like Jamin, like you had your two simple things for the conversation, right? Like, as long as you're doing this and as long as you're doing this is my version of that. As long as you're into co-creation from competition, regeneration and peace, from destruction and war, and from, it doesn't mean you're perfect or that you don't still suffer from these things, or like, I still eat meat sometimes. Like, I'm still working myself on some of these things. So you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be interested in moving in this direction. And then whatever your thing is, there's a place for you, in Togetherland, whether it's a documentary or a village or an activism, it doesn't really matter. And I love the idea of Moore's law, which is technology applied to consciousness, and the Maharishi effect, which is, I think, what we're actually talking about here. If you metaphorically apply the Maharishi effect and Moore's law, to consciousness, then we're going to get to that tipping point. And then I've outlined some act 1, 2, and 3, like, of what I see actually happening, like, as far as this kind of major plot line that would be more like what my ego would want to create if I was given the opportunity. And then I've got some other stuff. Anyway, it's a really long thing, and I appreciate you listening. And it's not an official presentation, and I'm not doing this in my 2 minutes, obviously. And I love that you said the birth of a conversation, Jamin. I think that's really important. You might want to even add it to the website to help people know why they're showing up for the 2 minutes. I love that. It's to give birth to a conversation, which means I don't have to be perfect. It means I don't have to give an elevator pitch, and I don't have to show slides. I'm going to actually personally say that for all 5 of my things. I'm going to start each one with, this is the birth of a conversation on this. This is the birth of a conversation on this. And I'm going to say whatever inspires me for 2 minutes, knowing that that's good enough, really. Like, I just want to give birth to this conversation on this topic, and it has to do with this and this. And I hope you'd like to follow up, at the love and the hate, in my open house, love and the hate, whatever. And that's it. Like, I love the birth of a conversation. I think that's powerful.
I love it. Oh my God. You see how we're jamming together now? It's just flowing. We're jamming. It works. We've hit critical mass. Speaking of Moore's law, this is like, I don't know, 1974 all over again, with the first integrated circuit, for suitable to power an Altair 2000 or whatever they called it, right? And so we're there. It's all uphill from here. exponential uphill in a good way. It's all uphill from here.
Yeah, it's like that diffusion of technology curve. Do you know that, Jamin? It's like the early adopters, the more.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
you like it?
Very, very.
So like it's kind of like if we can create innovations like Togetherland, for example, where people are participating. It's like the diffusion of technology thing with cell phones is when more people started using cell phones, it was exponential. So if we can create something like the press conference, the conversation Togetherland, which is a type of technology, which is what people don't understand really, and people start the early adopters of that create that exponential like new thing that happens because of this. I'm not explaining it well because it's a new
No, no, no.
concept I just
It's
learned about.
perfect.
This
Yeah.
diffusion of early adopter diffusion of technology thing. It's like once some people start using cell phones, eventually it's like look at the world. So like once people start co-authoring Togetherland, they'll be the early adopters, but the more it becomes accessible and relatable and easily integrate like a interface with, then it's like now people are like, I mean, most people, it's like incomprehensible because it's like, we're not going to be going to work anymore. Like, we're here to be creators. We're here to contribute. We're here. It's like, it is a movie. It is fun. It is a game. Like, we can bring some levity back. And it's like, simultaneously, we're not hippies. Like, we're systemic thinkers. We're entrepreneurs, like, well, we are hippies. I shouldn't say that. We're not only hippies. Yeah, we're not only hippies, or we're not fragmented. I mean, we're integrated, holistic people. Like we can build systems. We can create prosperity. We can smoke dope. We can like take psychedelics. We can channel aliens. We can like heal people. We can create medical solutions. Like all of it is open. It's all good. It's all good. Like, and I personally believe that's where the planet's going no matter what, even if we blow ourselves up, by the way, and the planet has to go through 14.5 billion years again just to get to the point where there's a doppelganger of Jamin and Orbit Mr. Fulliver talking about, we're still going to be in the same position of like, okay, it's time to like rebrand. I mean, I'm obviously ambitious, so I'm kind of rebranding Earth Togetherland. It's the same body. It's the same physical thing, but there's no reason we have to keep the name Earth. I mean, that's just the marketing thing. Like, it's just a word. Like, it's not the actual thing, right? Earth is a symbol for like, you know, the ground we walk on and the air we breathe and the water we drink. Like, Earth can also go for. I wouldn't mind rebranding Earth Togetherland myself, but I'm not married.
Well,
I'm not expecting that.
well,
But
here's how we do it. What's the address of Love and the Hate? It is the conversation. It's Love on Hate, and it is in the state of the conversation.cc, the planet Togetherland. And with that, we birthed the
yeah.
planet. We just birthed the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all in. It's all in. Like, we are unlimited creative beings, and I know our intentions are so they're humble and audacious. Like, our intentions are about creating a beautiful experience for everyone, and everyone having the opportunity to have a beautiful experience. Like, I'm good with that. Like, my heart's clear, my conscience is clear for like why we're doing what we're doing. So I'm happy to be audacious and like, yeah, like, we're going all the way. We are the next presidents and the next captains of industry. I'm using that's not what I would call it, but everyone can have impact. Like, everyone can have, and people that don't want to, of course, don't have. It's not about that. We're gonna take it back. We're just taking the power back, the old-fashioned thing. Like if we've not learned anything, all of us from the 60s onward and Occupy and all this, is that we can't wait for our mommies and daddies of the government, of religions and all that to come and rescue us. Like, we're adult, when we grow up and wake up and show up, we have the abilities to co-lead our planet together. And everyone has different roles. I mean, some people that want to, it doesn't matter what your role is, but you're a leader in your own way. It's just excellent stuff, good stuff, fun stuff. So now you've roped me into 5 presentations or 4 to 5 presentations on the 19th.
Not only that, but a
but-
relocation to the Haight. A relocation. We're bringing love back to the Haight.
Bringing love back to the Haight.
Here, I'm going to
Word.
pause. I'm going to pause recording for a second.